All right, guys, welcome back to another Master and Apprentice video and podcast. So this weekend we had some really big news from the Star Wars community. You guys might not have heard, but it was confirmed by Disney. This was a rumor earlier this year that we even covered in a video that the Mandalorian season 4 was going to be turned into like a crossover movie. And then we kind of had it, denied and all these things. We didn't really know what was happening. And then Disney came out and confirmed it on their Twitter, on their Instagram. They made a public statement. And so we do know officially that it's going to be going into production this year, 2024, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which is supposed to be a continuation from season 3, as well as Ahsoka season 2 being confirmed. So that's going to be connected with that, I'm sure, as it's all in the same timeline, same universe, the Mandoverse, if you will. But along with all of that, earlier this year, or earlier last year, actually, we had a movie, announced that Dave Filoni was going to be doing his own Mando crossover. And I think some of us kind of presumed that this is what this movie, Jon Favreau, was going to be producing. It's not. It's actually supposed to be supposedly a trilogy. And we've got an article here today kind of talking about the details behind that. A lot rides on this new Mando and Grogu movie, but we could be getting a trilogy including a Dave Filoni's own Mandoverse, an heir to the Empire movie, if you will. So we'll go ahead and bring up this article for you guys. This is something off of the Bespin Bulletin. This is by Bespin Bulletin. Yesterday was a big news day for Star Wars fans as Lucasfilm officially announced a new movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, which would see our heroes from the Mandalorian TV series, Din Djarin and Grogu, venture onto the big screen. The film is set to be directed by the Mandalorian creator, Jon Favreau, and production is slated to begin later this year. No additional details were shared regarding the Mandalorian and Grogu, not even if it was retooling a planned and previously announced 4th season of The Mandalorian, which was already originally planned to begin filming late September 2023. Kind of skip a little bit ahead. News of The Mandalorian and Grogu shocked many fans, but rumors that a 4th season morphing into the feature film started in the summer of 2023. July were the first to share Disney and Lucasfilm were considering turning the 4th season of The Mandalorian into a movie, and it was options being considered by the studios, but was dependent on how greatly impacted the production of the 4th season would be due to the aforementioned strikes. Blah, blah, blah. Kind of skip on. The person that first broke The Mandalorian Season 4 becoming a movie story, making Star Wars, shared an interesting new detail during his YouTube show yesterday. MSW revealed that the source that first told him The Mandalorian Season 4 becoming a movie has now informed him that this film is part of a trilogy. The Mandalorian trilogy will consist of The Mandalorian and Grogu being directed by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni directed Mandoverse crossover event film that was announced in April 2023 and an unknown 3rd film. Quote, my original source who told me that this season 4 being a movie has told me that it's going to be a trilogy. Making Star Wars went on to add his own sense of the situation, which is his speculation that the 3rd part of this possible trilogy would only become a reality if the Mando and Grogu was a success at the box office, meaning it can't be bringing the numbers similar to Solo Star Wars story and Indiana Jones Dial Destiny. The Mandalorian and Grogu wasn't a success, Lucasfilm and Disney would avoid a 3rd entry and merely just release its originally planned and announced untitled Mandoverse crossover event film set to be directed by Dave Filoni. And then it kind of just explains that more in the article. So basically, the Dave Filoni movie is still part of this series, but it's not actually this Mando. Right, this Mandalorian and Grogu is a whole separate entity. It's essentially season 4 put into a movie, right? And then on top of that, we know we've got a Dave Filoni Mandoverse, and he said it's going to be closer to the heir of the Empire. So it's probably going to be, this Mandoverse is probably going to be setting up everything together, like the Boba Fett show, the Skeleton Crew show, Ahsoka, the Thrawn, all of it into one. And it all really depends, again, like they said, this isn't really confirmed, but we know Disney to kind of do this, to kind of cancel things when things aren't successful, especially now in 2024 with a lot of their last kind of big films not really having success in the box office, right? Indiana Jones was an example. Any of the new Marvel shows and Star Wars shows really haven't been great, except for The Mandalorian. So, with all that being said, this is big news. Hopefully, this movie is awesome because a lot is riding on it. I personally think this can kind of I think this would help everyone forgive the sins of Disney with the original trilogy that the sequel trilogy that they released. This could kind of help us forgive and forget and kind of this be the new sequel trilogy in some people's eyes. I really do believe it has that power. We saw how beloved the Mandalorian is, and for the most part, Ahsoka. So this whole Mandoverse era is, for the most part, really loved. Besides, of course, Boba Fett, but I think it has a lot of potential. This movie has a lot of potential, and a lot is writing on it for sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited and eager. I really think that this could go. I mean, obviously one of two ways. It could go really horrible or really good. But Star Wars has always been being on the big screen, being on movies, as we talked about in our last stream, and specifically in trilogies. The original trilogy and then the prequel trilogy. For a while, it was just those two and the Clone Wars, the animated TV series. Those are the only like live action real things out there for a little bit. I mean, it's just it's exciting to get back to what it used to be, what we were. We were big trilogies, and I mean, regardless whether you like the sequels or not, the years are coming out too. And Disney showed they can produce some good stuff. Rogue One came out. Everyone, for the most part, really liked that. If they can put that level into this trilogy, I mean, I really hope that that's what they do because that'd be really, really nice change of pace.
I'm personally a huge fan of the Heir of the Empire, the Thrawn trilogy, the EU Legends trilogy, right? I think this has got that kind of potential, right? With already how much love is built up for this Mandalorian series, I think this has got all the potential in the world to really kind of help people get past that sequel hate and some of the new Disney era hate. Because, have your opinions on what you do or don't like, but there's one thing for sure. The Star Wars fandom is very divided, and it's got a lot to do with what Disney has produced and put out in the last, decade. So there you guys have it. Let us know what you guys think down in the comments of The Mandalorian, Ahsoka Season 2, potentially a trilogy, all of that down in the comments. Hopefully you guys are excited. I'm excited, but a little bit nervous as well. With that, we hope you guys did enjoy this. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like. If you guys are listening on the podcast, don't forget to hit that download and follow. And we will see you guys in another episode. Peace.